What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and we're going to be talking about repos today. And not only regular repos, but we're going to be talking about flipping them. Flipping regular cars versus exotic cars. Now, through the years, I've gotten a lot of grief from my friends asking me, Lucky, why do you always like to buy buckets? Like, if you're here on my channel, I always tell people the way to future or the way to make money is buckets. Buckets always seem to pay. They move much quicker, but every once in a while I'll go out and get something rare. Like I'll go get an exotic, a classic car, stuff like that. So today's video, we're going to talk about some of the things why I prefer flipping cheap cars compared to some of these exotics. And also I'm going to give you 3 different things that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to flipping these types of cars. And I'm going to show you the pros and cons of each. Let's go ahead and get into it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to walk around and I'm going to show you a few of the cars, talk about it, what we're into them, how much we're going to flip them for and stuff like that. And then I'll get into some other numbers and also some of the other stuff you're going to need to know if you decide to get into this business. Let's go. Now, when I talk about flipping buckets, I don't mean piles of crap, even though I do have some of those over here, but I like to sell regular cars like this, stuff under, like $11,000, stuff they can buy cash. Old Toyota pickup trucks always bring money. We got this Honda Accord. This one we actually got for a pretty good price. I think we got it for about $1,900. We're gonna sell it for around $55. This very ugly, beat up Eclipse, $800. We're probably gonna sell it for like $2 grand cash as is. It's just an ugly repo. That's one of my project cars. You'll see that in a later video. We just got this one yesterday for $600, runs and drives. Focus, we're just waiting for the tires to come back. Miata is not mine, it's a friend's. Now we're gonna get to the exotic cars. So this is a 2017 Rolls-Royce Wraith. I'm not gonna go over how much we have into it just yet because I wanna make a separate video on it. This video is mostly gonna highlight the differences between flipping a car like this and flipping another cheap car like this Ford F-250. Now this car is pretty nice if you look at it. It looks good. Let me go ahead and zoom out my camera here. There we go. So this car does look good, but it does have some issues. Now, if we come to the back, one of the main reasons why I tell people to never start flipping exotic cars is the cost of parts. So even though we got this for pretty cheap, a lot of the parts are gonna cost a fortune for this car. Like if you see this windshield back here, it's got some cracks and some chips. How much do you think this windshield is? $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? I'll give you a second to put it in the comment section below what you guys think it is, and I guarantee you all of you guys are wrong. This windshield is $4,800 to $5,200, and that's my price from the dealer. It's crazy. So we got to replace this windshield. The wheels, I won't even get into that. If you're a Rolls-Royce guy, you know how much these stupid wheels are and the floating hubcaps that never change and rotate. This window, driver's side window, is broken. How much do you think a driver's side window would cost on a Rolls-Royce Wraith? Once again, put in the comment section below. Don't cheat too much. I'll give you a second to figure it out, and then I'll tell you exactly how much it is. All right, now that you guys had a second, the window is $2,300 my cost. Now, like I said, this is a beautiful car, and we are going to make good money, but the reason why I tell people to not flip exotic cars and the reason why I stay away from it is because you could lose money like this. When you lose $10,000, $20,000 on a repair like this, it's a lot harder when you, instead of buying like this Volvo or this Yaris where, I can spend $500 into fixing it, and if I sell it, even if it's a complete pile of junk, I'll either break even or take a very small loss. You could pay $200,000 for an exotic car, dump 20 grand into it, and then take it to the auction, sell it for $190. I see this happen all the time. So when people ask me, Lucky, I want to flip exotic cars and everything else. So not only do you have to have a lot of capital to get started in this, like I said, you can lose money really fast. And also you need to have the experience and the knowledge to know how to work on these cars. Like a lot of people don't know that a lot of the platform here is shared with BMW. So a lot of the parts we can interchange, but some we can't. But this is a lot of the stuff that people won't learn until they lose a lot of money. Now, everything you see here is just insanely priced. The Spirit of Ecstasy, the little lady that pops up and comes out of here, they broke that off. If we want a new one, it's $3,400. So we're gonna leave that one alone. Bucket, I think we paid $1,800 for this thing. Runs and drives, AC blows cold. We're gonna sell it for like $4,500. Somebody's work truck, it'll go pretty quickly. That's actually my grandfather's caddy. I got that one, we're gonna restore that one. Here is this Aston Martin. We just got it to fire up because the bank couldn't fire it up. This is a repo. They sold to us as is because they couldn't get it started. And this is another example. I'm going to show you why you can't take on exotic cars unless you have not only the money, but the knowledge to work on them. I'm going to show you how we get around some of the stuff to get these things started when they go into limp mode. But this car's not that bad. We got some broken suspension. We're going to paint and polish this up. Rest of it looks really clean. The inside's beautiful. I'll show you the inside here. Look at that. Looks like a fighter jet. So we're going to clean that one up and get it rolling. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why would I want to mess with buckets when I can mess with this? When I sell trucks like this Ford Explorer, and then I'll show you this little Scion right here. This one, we're going to probably, if not double, triple our money on it. We paid a little over 1,900 bucks for it. This thing's only got 103,000 miles. It's original, it's dirty right now. I'll show you the before. Maybe we'll get the after next week, but it's just dirty. But this was a repo. It's clean, runs and drives good. AC blows cold. We're gonna fix the bumper, clean it up, put a couple $100 into it. These things in Vegas right now, no joke, are going between $5,000 and $6,000. And they all have like 180 to 200,000 miles. This one, like I said, it has barely over 100,000. So I think we're gonna get some really good money on this one. But as far as our risk to profit ratio, that's what I really want to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and flip around the camera. So the risk to profit ratio is very, very important. You don't want to risk a bunch of money like on this McLaren here, or assuming not the McLaren's over here on the other side. I'll show you that one next video. That one's got to get some work done to it. But like this Rolls or that Aston, stuff like that, you could risk $100,000, $200,000 to profit maybe $10,000, $20,000. Now that's not a lot of, that's not a small amount of money, but compared to what you're investing, where if you were to give $100,000, you could buy pretty much all these cheap buckets you see behind me and get maybe a almost double your money type of aspect. Like this Yaris, I think we're into it all in fixed $1,800. It's got 130,000 miles. I think it's going to go up for sale for around 54. But you're going to double, triple your money on some of these cheaper cars. Everybody always gets caught up in the mystique of selling nice cars. I got to have expensive cars and blah, blah, blah. Cheap cars, buckets is like what I like to call them, are recession proof. As the economy gets worse, these cheap cars go up in value because people can afford to buy like these Rolls Royce. I got this other Mercedes over here and a Hummer. If you guys want a Hummer, I got a really nice Hummer. It's my mom's old one. It's only got like 120,000 original miles. But those cars are in the $12,000 to $15,000 range, and it's not very affordable for most people. Where most of these cars that we see back here are very low, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 vehicles that people can purchase with a few paychecks or selling something to get some of the money. Now, the reason I believe that this market is going to boom is I started my business during a recession. We talk about this a lot, like most millionaires are made during a recession. Back in 2009, 10, 11, and 12, the market just kept going down and down, and people didn't believe that it was ever going to end. Right around 2012 is when we started. We started buying cars more, we started flipping more, and next thing you know, it got busier. We kept getting more and more people asking us for cheap, affordable cars because they ruined their credit. They weren't able to financially afford to buy, that brand new $60,000 truck that they're used to. They have to settle for maybe like a $3,000, $4,000 cheap, affordable car. And I believe that's where the market is going. That's why I want to make this video. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love to show you guys the exotic cars. Both cars, we have a McLaren and another Aston Martin that we have here that we're going to show you guys too. We're going to fix them, we're going to service them, we're going to put it all on the channel so you guys can see it. Those cars are fun and it brings a lot of attention in. But I want to really focus on the fact that this is where you're going to make your money, is the buckets. If you don't believe me, I always tell everybody go joke. You go to like one of these really fancy dealerships and look at most of the people that either own them or the salespeople. They are so cash strapped or they're over leveraged with credit to try to afford to float these, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 cars, where you meet some guy that's like in a trailer on the side of the road with like 60 cars and he's doing buy here, pay here. Guy's a multi-millionaire because he owns all this stuff. Now, am I saying one way's better than the other? A little bit. I am kind of biased when it comes to buckets because when I first started, I did cheap cars, but what did I do? I made the mistake that every dealer does. We start getting nicer cars and bigger floor plans and more space and more and more and more and more. No. There's that saying, keep small, keep it all. is totally true. I had a dealer friend of mine tell me this story, and I'll share it with you guys. He had, I think it was like a 10 car lot, and he was flipping about 10 to 15 cars out of there, and he was making about 10 grand a month. And he was super excited. He's like, man, imagine what I can do with 30 car lot. So he got a 30 car lot, started selling 20, 25 cars, you know, and no matter what he did, after paying his employees, because he had to have more employees to help him, he always made $10,000. So then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go big time. And he got a big lot down over here off of Sahara with over 150, 200 car spaces. Maxed it out, had a $2 million flooring line, was just a bunch of banks, got a bunch of cars. Had maybe 6 more salespeople, 3 more mechanics, a finance manager, general manager, was really rocking and rolling, pushing out like 60, 70, 80 cars a month. At the end of the day, after he paid all of his people, paid all of his flooring, he still was making $10,000 a month. After 2 years of doing that, he shut everything down, opened up a small warehouse. It's just him and one other guy. He flips like 8 to 10 cars a month, still makes 10 grand a month. So you don't have to be really big to make a good amount of money. Most of the people that I meet that are very successful, that make a lot of money, is wholesaling. So when people ask me like, Lucky, why'd you get out of the dealer business? I still sell cars, but I do it wholesaling because I don't want to deal with the customers. I don't want to deal with the headaches, the banks, the buybacks, the issues, you know, all that other stuff. This is very simplistic for me. I could show up here, buy a few cars, sell a few cars, take a few to the auction, and I'm done for the day. I don't have to sit here and mess with customers. Now, not saying that I am. I think when the economy totally tanks and the real estate market here in Vegas gets a little bit cheaper, I think I'm going to open up another dealership here. But I want to wait till the market prices go down, because I looked at a little tiny lot that should rent for about $4,000 or $5,000. They want $12,000 a month for it. So I just kind of laughed and I was like, don't worry, I'll be back in 6 months and it'll be half the price. So I already know that stuff is coming. So the reason why I said I want to make this video is, one, to get you guys ready for the recession, because like I said, the economy's shrinking, people ain't spending money, the stimulus dollars are gone. These cheap cash cars are gonna make you a lot of money. And there's gonna be tons of repos like this one. I'm going back to LA, then I gotta go to Phoenix to pick up more Highline cars, because a lot of these cars are coming up for repo. A lot of the PPP loan people, the stimulus ballers can't afford them. So little by little, you're gonna start seeing more and more exotic cars on the channel. Now, I'm not gonna be changing my process, because I'm still gonna buy cheap cars, because I honestly believe that's the way to go. But I understand people want to see this, you know, they want to see the fancy cars, the exotic cars, so I want to go ahead and share that with you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go inside my office. The lighting's going to change, it's going to suck a little bit, but that's okay. I want to show you another reason why you don't want to do exotic cars and why you want to stick to cheap cars. So if the lighting changes a little bit, I'm sorry, but we're walking through the shop right now, and this is one of the things I want to talk to you about. Is you want to do exotic cars, or you want to flip wreck cars, you want to buy stuff on Copart, I'm always going to tell you no. Do not do that until you actually own a repair facility. Unless you have massive amount of equipment, you have a good amount of capital, and you have skilled people that can help you fix those vehicles. Because even if you are a little bit mechanically inclined, at the end of the day, it doesn't work. You need to have some sort of expertise, or somebody that's an expert when it comes to those particular vehicles. Now, sorry, it's going to go back and forth and change my lighting a little bit, but we're here at my office. Let me flip around the camera. I'm going to show you something. So this is going to kind of touch on some of the tools. I just picked up this one yesterday. This was about 5,800 bucks. This is the Altel Max with pretty much everything known to man. Exotic cars, classic cars. It's got the scope for programming. It's got just a whole bunch of toys. Sorry, my office is a mess. But this is what you're going to have to start spending your money on. So before you even think about going out and getting an exotic car, let me flip the camera around. So before you even start thinking about getting into flipping cars or exotic cars, you need to ask yourself, what are you good at and what facilities do you have? If you're a guy in like a small apartment complex and you want to get started in car flipping, I would recommend buying cars that maybe just need to be really detailed, cleaned up, very minor stuff that still runs and drives. Don't take on big projects, even if it seems like a screaming deal, because I've seen more cars get towed out of apartment complexes because they don't have plates or they don't have little tags on there. You don't want to mess with that stuff. If you're an experienced flipper, maybe you're really good in sales, but you don't have any mechanical aptitude, start learning the business when it comes to repair. Hire a mobile mechanic, become friends with them, and take them everywhere you go when you buy cars, and form a partnership. Learn as much as you can. What motors are good, what cars to stay away from. We talk about this a lot on the channel. I tell people, once you learn the cars that have a lot of issues, and if you specialize in one thing, you know, I've had a few videos about flipping cars where I had a friend of mine, he only bought Ford Focuses. That was his niche. I have one friend does Focuses, another one does Civics, and they're like masters of everything. They know exactly what it's going to cost to fix, how to fix it, how quickly, and they just do one type of car. So that's their game plan. If you first get started, I would recommend that. I know it's kind of hard to always get a good deal on one particular car. So once you become an expert in one particular car, then you could start to branch out. But I'm never going to tell you guys to go out and start buying multiple cars with mechanical issues, body issues, unless you actually have the experience to fix it. Too many dealers get into this conundrum, especially right now. I need to buy a cheap car. Where do I get the cheap cars, Lucky? So they go to Manheim, they go to the TRA lane, and they start buying in-ops, because that's the only affordable car they can get. And what do? They never pay cash for it. They put it on their stupid flooring line. And now that money's costing them money every single month. Don't ever put a broken car on your flooring line, because as it's sitting there getting repaired, unless you have a system kind of like we have, where you have a dealership and a shop or a repair shop knocking out your stuff, every day it sits there, it's going to cost you money. And now you're paying on a car that's costing you even more. And then when you go to get rid of it, and sometimes when you have audits, as the economy starts to tank, a lot of dealers are going to be in trouble. And what the banks are going to do and what the flooring lines are going to do is they're going to be like, look, we need to get rid of some of these cars because the value of the vehicles are going down. So you owe us $500,000, but your vehicle values are like at $400,000. So you need to liquidate some cars so we don't feel so scared. And all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, a lot of my cars are broken. They don't run. Well, now you're going to take them to the auction during the actual downturn, and you're going to get peanuts for them. So now you're going to owe money on them after you sell them. Next year, AFC is going to ask you for the difference, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Don't do it. If you want to get into this, like I said, just start little by little, do different little things, and don't get into heavy repairs. Try to get into mostly, small stuff. Once you get a little more experienced, or if you're a mechanic yourself and you want to take on those cars, that's the only time I would definitely recommend it. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a last minute video. I wanted to film some more stuff out there, but it's 115 degrees today in Vegas. And if you can't tell, my fat ass is sweating. I'm going to have some really cool stuff. I got another McLaren, another Aston Martin, and a Bentley that's coming in that I'm going to show you in the video. We're going to be doing breakdowns of how much it's going to cost, what I'm going to estimate I'm going to fix it for, and then also what I'm going to actually sell it for. So if you want, make sure you follow us on Instagram. It's Lucky Lopez. Pops up right there. I post stories on this stuff every single day. So if you want to see the daily grind, follow us on there, and then I'll upload a video next week about either the Aston Martin, the Rolls Royce, or the McLaren. One of those three. We'll figure it out. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I love to get your guys' feedback. I'm trying to do a little bit of talking head along with some like real life stuff where we're actually going out, fixing cars, buying cars, flipping cars together, because I believe that stuff's really important, because I don't want you guys to think that there are no deals out there. Every single day, I get emails, phone calls, and stuff of deals. You just need to build a system. Go through my watch list. I have a shitload of videos on building a system on how to get leads to you where you can get cars. And if you want to book a call with me. Links in the description below, all of our classes, everything else. I don't really push them that much because I just rather do this on YouTube, but there is a lot of really great stuff I don't talk about on here. So make sure you check that out, and we'll see you next video.